Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. This is Les Engelstead, and I am very thankful that I get a chance to come and talk with you today. There's always so many things I think of throughout the weeks that before I get to share again, and I just have a floodgate at different times. And to tell you the truth, I am so encouraged by how many comments out there that you talk to me and say such great things, and I'm just so grateful for this TV show and the opportunity that it gives us to share what comes into our hearts. And today I get to do the sharing, and it came across the idea of happiness. And I know some of you may have heard the saying, there's happiness and that has to do with your happenings, but joy has to do with going on inside. But for the most part in this world, we do want to be happy. I mean, it's just a common goal out there, and you think, what is it that gets people happy? What is it that keeps you happy? And one of the things that I've come across so oftentimes is basically in myself, how fast it's stolen from me. Like I just gave my peace up. I just lost my joy. And it's so oftentimes because it hurt my feelings. Somebody has offended me. They didn't do what I needed them to do. Perhaps they didn't recognize and say, oh, I sure appreciate that, Les, what you've done for me. And I mean, that's ridiculous, really, but that is what a big pain, I think, that a lot of us carry around. We lose our happiness because we have other people trying to fill that area of our life. And one of the things I pick up these books pretty much daily in different ways, and I just enjoy just the encouraging thought behind it. But I read this last night. It said, may you throw aside your detailed expectations of what you want others to do for you. Instead, throw your arms open with a fresh expectancy that God is going to give you just what you need. And it's according to His wisdom and His will. If we could actually possess that kind of thinking, just think where we would go. We wouldn't be so quickly taken out for the day. I recently heard a teacher saying, if you are in bed and you just start this thinking right away in the morning, that's probably the way your day is going to go. If you start thinking up stressies, or I got to take care of all these, or boy, last night, kids came home and they didn't do anything but leave the mess for me, not thinking of anybody but themselves. And then my husband's not talking really too much to me. And you start your list going before you get out of bed. How great is that? Not such a good recipe for a good day, that's for sure. I think there's laws or rules, or I don't know what the right word, because laws is kind of a scary word to me. I don't like to follow them too much. But about keeping happies and losing your happies. There's a book that I picked up. It's called The Law of Happiness. And I heard this man speak, and I thought it was quite incredible about a lot of things that he put forth. But this is one of the thoughts that came in. There's so much research out there, and relationships are such a big part of how we're created. They just really are. We're meant to be busy with one another. And oftentimes, maybe if you're feeling bummed out, you probably just want to take away, go up and watch TV, not talk to anybody, not answer the phone, and then you can start thinking on stuff that's not so healthy. I just want to challenge you, no matter where you are in life and who you have in your life, just to get out of yourself will create a happiness that you wouldn't even believe. I love what I heard recently about chasing the happies, and it wasn't until this lady said I finally started chasing something totally different, and that was like I read a bit ago about don't have those expectations from someone else to fill you up. Instead, just expect God to do something great for you. And she's like, I can't believe how much happier I am. She said, I quit blaming my husband for not giving me the attaboys that I need. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Or maybe it's the teacher or the coach that didn't recognize you. Or perhaps you're older and you didn't have a kid that called you, or an old friend that didn't invite you out for coffee, yet she invited someone else. I mean, we could get offended pretty quickly. And I often think that we just have to stop and take a look at our day. And if you are, within a minute or two, starting to feel really, whoa, poor me, maybe you should just grab a phone and call somebody and say, hey, do you need anything today? Just came across thinking about, maybe you wanted me to pick up that coffee cake we talked about and share it with our friend on the street, whatever it might be. There's something there for you to do for somebody else. I think that's part of the law of happiness, is that we just got to continue to look for ways to make others happy and then watch what happens. That's actually the way God created us. He really did. He put it quite simply out there. But in this little book that I was showing you earlier, It says that we're physically healthier, we'll have stronger immune systems, and we'll be less sick. We'll have less illness if we get out of ourselves and give into another. We're medically more likely to deal with treatment better, and the illness will go quicker if we get happy, if we think on the good things. And I know you've heard that a whole lot of times, and until I don't get to share anymore, you're going to hear it again. Our thoughts are so powerful, what we think on. We're going to be emotionally healthier. We're going to have less stress, depressions, and anxieties when we get to that law of happiness by looking out and doing something for another. We're more likely to reach the attempts to change our own lives, those things that we don't like about ourselves. We can change quicker if we, again, think on those things that make us happy. We all have perhaps goals or what we think our lives should look. And sometimes we need to release those or else just draw it up a little bit differently so that we can have a little bit more grace for ourselves. I think that's when we get kind of tough on ourselves too, is when we have already expected, boy, I should be here, I'm in my 50s. Well, the funny thing is, changes come and you have no idea that they're going to change your life so quickly. And sometimes they're really tough stuff, like there's death, the loss of those that you love. What are you going to do with that? I mean, of course you're going to grieve and then time to heal, but you got to decide quickly, how can I get out of this funk that I'm feeling? And my thought again is to just encourage you on doing something for another. I want to quickly share, I've got a new friend named Martha Bauer, one of our viewers, and she has helped me so much in just the few conversations that I've had with her. She tells me stories that make me laugh like a drop of a hat. She's got another story. And it sounds like she is a woman that has always done for others. One thing I know about Martha is that she was the youngest of many kids, I believe, and stayed home, took care of her parents. That's what older people did. That is not such a bad recipe, taking care of another, right? So I just want to encourage you today to just do your very best to look for ways to do something for another. Thanks again for tuning in, and look forward to visiting with you next time.